Well, today is the 18th of October, another lovely warm day, and I've come down to Linton. This is a barrier preventing boats and people from going over the weir, which you can see the top of there. And this cut takes water down into the Archimedes screw. See there, I'll have a look at it in a minute. Well, there you can see the weir, and there's a lot of fresh water going down. You can see the main floor goes down on the left-hand bank there. On the right-hand bank, which is this side, you can see that it's the floor is quite sedate. Now, salmon and sea trout, with the rivers having been very low all summer, have been unable to make their way up to the spawning grounds, and they've been shoaling up out at sea in the estuaries. However, on Wednesday we got a good flow of water. Fresh water, the first really good flow, good flush through of the summer. And these salmon and sea trout have been pouring up here by the tens of thousands all week. Now here at Linton, they'll make their way up through the deeper water, the main floor, to this area here, where they'll meet the surge of water coming down this fish path. And of course, they will make their way up through this powerful water, up these steps. You can see here in front of me. And then away, up through there, and away upstream. If I turn round away from the weir and the fish pass, move across this waste ground here, you will see there the Archimedes screw. The first thing you will notice while I'm standing here behind it is the noise which is made from the generator. Not the screw itself, but the generator at the end of it. The other thing you will notice as I turn round is that the major earthworks which have taken place here in order to get this thing in. You can see them there, although they will eventually blend back into the background, but nevertheless, considerable earthworks have taken place here to put this thing in. And let's have a look at the gizmo itself. Well, you can see that in this floor, which is ideal for migratory fish coming upstream, this thing goes round at one hell of a lick. The other thing you will notice is that the water emerging from the screw goes down this right bank and is relatively quiet. Migratory fish like a good strong floor, so most fish will be coming up across the opposite bank in the main floor in the very deep water. Nevertheless, a few fish will be coming up this side, feeling this surge of water coming down on the right. You can see the distance from the emergence of water from the screw and the emergence of water from the fish pass. They are a considerable distance apart. I think maybe 100 feet. The other noticeable thing here is that there is no protection, nothing to prevent fish from entering this thing. this screw. There's no gauze or barrier at the bottom end at all. So many fish, and there will be many. I mean, I've been watching fish at further upstream on the swale this week, and there have been thousands of them, and they've all come through here. And some of them will have been tempted up here, and it's inevitable if they try to push their way up there, and they're hell bent on getting to their spawning ground. Nothing stops them, nothing gets in the way. If they attempt to go up here, they will be decimated, seriously injured, or indeed killed, irrespective of any rubber buffers that might be on this blade. I mean, if you fell into it, it would be, it would just macerate you. Fisherman there. Oh. Great way to spend a day. You can see that the water has been much higher earlier in the week. It's gone down about a foot, I would think. So there you can see the three structures. The screw on the left, about 100 feet away on the right, you can see the fish pass exit. It doesn't come directly down into the river, it has this dogleg left, and then beyond that the weir itself. The water pouring over it. Now we've come to Topcliffe, and this is Topcliffe Weir, where they're proposing to put in an Archimedes screw, and these bushes are here. Unlike Linton, Topcliffe has this unique feature. Just below the weir, it has this rocky island. Now, not only are the gravel beds around this rocky island the spawning grounds for a great many fish, including tens of thousands of minnows, of course, which are eaten by larger fish, and the delightful kingfishers, which abound in this area. But the other thing you will notice is that it also diverts the water from the weir pool down this side of the river. Here you can see the main flow going down past this buttress and away downstream. Whereas on the other side of the island, when the river is low, you can in fact just simply walk across the stones, and the flow is quite small. So any migratory fish, salmon and sea trout, which have been coming up here in their thousands during the week, they will come up this side of the river, up this main flow, the deep water with a pacey current to it. And as they swing round there into the weir pool, were this Archimedes screw to be built, the first surge of water they would come across would be into the screw itself. And of course, as we have seen from that screw at Linton, the damage caused to these fish would be enormous. So they would reach this surge into the main screw before they reached the fish pass, which is adjacent to the screw according to the plans. In other words, between the screw and the weir itself. These fish, which are coming up the river now, and we'll have a look at them leaping the weir in a moment, they were hatched way up in the small streams of the River Swale catchment. And they stayed up there for a couple of years before travelling down in this direction, down into the Ewer, into the Ouse and the Humber, and out into the North Sea. And then they make their way up around the north of Scotland into the North Atlantic region, mainly around Greenland, but some in Norwegian waters. And they stay out there for about 5 years, feeding voraciously and growing very quickly. After about 5 years, the urge to return to their spawning grounds becomes irresistible, and they set off back round the north of Scotland, back past the Spey, past the Tay, down past the Tyne, the Tweed, the Tees, the Esk, and eventually start gathering in the estuary of the Humber. And what they're waiting for is a big flow of fresh water, such as we have, or such as we've had for the last week. This summer, this is the first real flush of fresh water we've had down the system. And as soon as the fish detect this, they begin to migrate upstream by the tens of thousands into this Yorkshire system, into the Wharf, up the Ewer, and where the Ewer and Swale meet at Mighton. Those that were born in the Swale, in some magical way, detect the smell of the river, and they turn right and make their way back up the Swale to this point here and beyond. They've had to run the gauntlet of netting in the estuaries, the gauntlet of otters, the gauntlet of fungal disease, because they don't feed when they get into the river. And the longer they're in the river, the more susceptible they are to fungal disease, which of course causes them enormous damage, particularly to the fins. So they want to get up the spawning grounds very quickly. Many millions of pounds have been spent cleaning up the rivers and restocking them with this very valuable resource. This resource increasingly bringing more salmon fishermen, game fishermen, into this region, where they spend big money. They bring their families, they stay in hotels, they eat in the restaurants, they provide masses of employment for people in the Dale, where the summer season is incredibly short. And anything which would extend this season, and salmon and trout fishing, sea trout fishing, would extend it into October and November, is a real boon to the economy of the area. And this is only the beginning. This is, we only get a great big run like this about every less than that, every 4 or 5 years. Most years are decidedly lean. And it's particularly during those years that you really want to be encouraging the fish, putting nothing in their way, so that the maximum number of fish do in fact reach the upper headwaters. So it's only those with nothing to lose and much to gain who would even contemplate putting an Archimedes screw in at this point, this unique point, only to provide a minute amount of heavily subsidised electricity. Really, I mean, who in their right mind could possibly support such stupidity. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the fish jumping the weir. These fish are enormous. This big cockfish there must have been 15, 16 pounds, maybe bigger. Absolutely enormous, that fish. You can see it there, just it's been swept back down. Try again. They're just irrepressible. The urge to get upstream is all powerful. Most of the big fish are coming up here on this right bank. See a massive fish there. And this right bank is where this screw will be. This is where the deep water is. They need the deep water so they can get the momentum before they pile upwards and make their leap. So that is what makes Topcliffe unique. It is totally different to Linton. see from this video that many large fish are making their way up this slightly easier passage. And were this the exit from the Archimedes screw, these fish would be decimated. Chewed up remains would be carried away downstream by this powerful current. So this would be an excellent place to put in a fish pass. Oh, look at that fish there. This would be an excellent place to put in a fish pass to help these fish after their titanic struggle to get to this point over this final hurdle on their way upstream. But anything at all which could possibly damage these fish in any way, such as this Archimedes screw, should be turned down out of hand. It shouldn't even be considered. Well, there you are. Why would you want to risk all of that in order to satisfy some EU directive which is being more and more discredited by the day? I don't know. It's very sad.